Hey, today we're making an apple cider donut cake. So for the ingredients of the cake, you're going to need yellow cake mix. Mine is gluten-free because we have gluten allergies in our home. 3/4 cup of apple cider, 1/4 cup of water, 1/2 cup of applesauce, 3 eggs, a tablespoon of brown sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, 1/8 cup of cinnamon, depending on how much you like cinnamon. If you don't like it that much, then I would not use as much. 1/4 cup of sugar and 1/4 cup of melted butter. So we're gonna add the cake mix, we're gonna add the apple cider, we're gonna add the water, the 3 eggs, which I always use organic. If your egg yolks aren't golden, then don't use them. And the applesauce. Get all the lumps out. And then you're going to add to that the brown sugar and the vanilla, and then mix that again. All right, now that you've done that, we're gonna put it in a bundt pan. I've already pre-greased mine. Make sure you grease it really well. So, pre-greased bundt pan. I'm gonna pour it evenly. All right, so we're gonna scoop all of the cake that we can into the bundt. And we're gonna cook it on 350 for 45 minutes. Once the cake is cooked 45 minutes and a toothpick comes out clean, bring it out of the oven, let it cool a little bit more, and then we're gonna flip it onto our cooling rack and let it cool for 20 minutes. While that's cooling, we're going to make our apple cider glaze, which is a cup of confectioner sugar and 1/4 cup of apple cider. And we're gonna pour the confectioner sugar into the apple cider and stir that up and make a glaze consistency. You might like it a little thicker or a little thinner. You could add some apple cider if you want. Just stir to get the lumps out. And I'm going to pour this onto the cake, but you could make it as a side dip for the cake. And if you do that, then you could dip each individual piece. I'm gonna make it and pour it on top of the cake. And I might make a little extra because everybody loves the glaze. All right, so now my glaze is pretty much de-lumped and ready for the cake. Okay, so now that the cake is cooled for 20 minutes, we're going to use our melted butter, and we're going to smear the butter all over the cake. Actually, I'm also going to, after I do this, poke some holes in the cake in order to let, not the butter, but the apple cider glaze go into the cake a little bit. I feel like we lose a lot of that when we pour it on. I like to pour it on and I'll have some as a side dip, but I think it puddles otherwise if you don't give it a little bit of holes. So once you get it buttered everywhere, so the sugar cinnamon will stick. We're going to mix the sugar cinnamon together. And that's, again, that's a preference on ratio, however you want to mix it. If you want it more cinnamon, more sugar, that's up to you. All right. And I'm going to use my hands for this because it's just easier. Hold this a little closer. And sprinkle, and then kind of spread it around. Sprinkle and spread it around. Kind of get it to coat everywhere. I always put tin foil underneath my cooling rack so that you don't have to clean anything up. And that's a good coverage, I think. So now we wait till it's cool, and then we'll pour the glaze on. Now I'm going to poke some holes in the cake so the glaze kind of finds its way in. Pour it on. And then I'm going to take my cake stand, I have that here. And I'm going to take the cake ever so gently, put it onto the cake stand before I drizzle the glaze so we don't have a mess. And now we'll drizzle the glaze on it, and then if it puddles, people can scoop it up. You can use as much of this as you want, or you can, like I said, just serve it as a dip. Pour it on, and then a lot of it will soak into the cake as it sits a little bit. So, because everybody likes the glaze. And that's the apple cider donut cake that my family enjoys, and I hope you will too.